welcome to Career and Training, only on Afia TV, DSTV channel 254 and Go TV channel 17. On socials, we are at Afia TV Official. Career and Training is where we bring you different careers. We try to extract different careers and professionals and show you what it takes to be exceptional in those careers. Also to encourage graduates and young people make their choices in life. I am Ifoma Ajumoli, Ifi Melody, and today I am excited. Woo! We're talking about no other career but our very own broadcasting career, and I can't wait to bring my guest on board. Yes, we will be having this talk with Mr. Ken Ike, but of course now with the PhD, the doctor, and the Rector of WABMA, a seasoned broadcast journalist, print journalist, and I call him a media guru. Good afternoon and welcome to the program. Congratulations.
Thank you, Melody. Good afternoon, listeners and audience.
All right. And of course, Afia TV is still celebrating its 1-year anniversary all through this month of February.
Congratulations, Afia TV.
Thank you very, very much.
Surviving your first 1 year means you will go the distance.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes. And you're in this with us together, so you know what it takes.
We are.
And interestingly, we will be talking the career of broadcasting on the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, just before we go ahead, we will share our career tip with you. And I would want us to look at our career tip. It's a very interesting one. And it says, our career tip says, all right, our career tip says, the brain is the first broadcasting station ever invented. The brain is the first broadcasting station ever invented. What do you think about that, or what would you say about that?
Very interesting. I think that was made by Napoleon Hill.
Yes, Napoleon Hill.
And he's very accurate. When you look at this amazing brain of ours that we have, it has everything about broadcasting. What's broadcasting? We encode information, meaning we take information, we code it in, and we decode it, interpret it, and broadcast it, send it out to vast numbers of people scattered in different places. We say heterogeneous, meaning different people. That's exactly what the brain does. If you take one, the brain has an information processing system. It's the biggest information processing system. No computer yet is able to rival it, even though some are coming up in the future. But it's still the brain that will set up those computers, remember?
Yeah.
Okay?
Very true.
So the brain is a magnificent information processing system, exactly as a broadcasting house does. The brain has very excellent neural networks. These are networks within the brain that do two types of communication. They communicate from one part of the brain to the other, and also communicate with all other parts of the body. So what does broadcasting do again?
Well,
it does both intrapersonal and interpersonal communication.
Sure.
Okay? The brain also is a broadcaster, right? Because in broadcasting, when we get all this information, we interpret, we encode them, and then we broadcast them. So it is the brain that broadcasts directions to every other part of the body. In fact, it is impossible for you to take any action without a broadcast from the brain. It is the brain that tells you to move your hand. It is the brain that lets you know you are hungry. It is the brain that even makes you feel pain. If the part of your brain that understands pain and broadcasts it fails, you could pass through the worst torture and you will not feel any pain. And indeed, there are people born who don't feel pain because that part of their brain does not broadcast any information about pain.
Quite interesting the way you have broken it down. So, of course, we are looking at the various career paths in broadcasting. And the way you have analyzed this just makes me say, oh, broadcasting is surely a very important career and profession. Imagine a world without journalists, imagine a world without media, imagine a world without broadcasting.
Some people will be happier. Many governments will be happier without it.
All right, interesting.
Unfortunately, something has to broadcast information.
All right. Yeah.
Human beings, we are social animals. And as social animals, we cannot not communicate.
Very true.
So we must communicate.
Yeah.
Not only must we communicate within ourselves, we must communicate with others. And then we must communicate with our environment.
All right.
And to do that is why you have broadcasting.
Quite interesting. How did your journey start, especially in this profession?
Oh, well, my journey began right from childhood. I'd always been interested in two things, theater and media. So when I had to go to university, my first choice in JAM, my second choice in JAM, my third choice were all about theater and media studies and media arts. And I was fortunate to get admission at the University of Calabar.
Okay.
And study theater and media arts. And we were allowed to specialize as we got to third year. And I specialized in media studies and fine arts. And that training gave me a huge opening and understanding of the world. We had film studios in our school. We had radio and TV studios. And the opportunity of that showed me the vastness of media practice. So when I finished, I began first at Plateau Television in Jos, where I did my youth service also. And after that, I veered into the print media. So because I loved writing a lot, and print media is where you can actually write a lot more than many other aspects of the media. And after print media, after many years in the print media, I joined radio and I came into radio. And in radio, I also now moved to corporate communications, where I had about a 5-year stint as head of Radio Nigeria's corporate communications. We set up that department for Radio Nigeria. And then as I got older, I began to think about trainings and having to give back a lot of this. So over the past few years, I've spent a lot of time training a lot of people.
Wow. And that's exactly why we are on this show. I mean, it's all about training. Now we talk about careers and of course different professionals, but there are things that make people stand out, and part of it is the training. In your course of, being a media professional, what are the various career paths and options available to people, especially in this space?
Do you want us to begin with the traditional or with the new?
Well, both.
Oh, okay,
both,
we'll do a hybrid.
Yeah.
Okay, let's begin with the traditional. You and I are seated here now. We are what is called the front of the microphone. So we're seated in front of the microphone. And there are various jobs and career options for those who want to be in front of the microphone. So you can be a presenter. They're also called anchor persons like you.
Yeah.
Okay. Some of you call yourselves now OAPs, on-air personalities. So you can be that. You can be also being in front of the microphone. You can be a reporter, a journalist in per se, and reporting. And so when Afia TV is when you are doing your news, you get in your reporters either on location or on set, and they speak about the news. They are the ones that get the news, package it, interpret it, and send it out. Then you could also be an interviewer. Interviewing is a special skill. There are people in broadcasting whose only work is interviewing, and you know the famous Larry Kings of this world. And you have Aniagolu, Charles Aniagolu on Arise TV, and you have some of your very good interviewers here. So front of the mic, okay? However, what you see in front of the mic, of course, as you know, is an iceberg. And as we know what an iceberg is in a sea, that part of it that comes on top of the sea is actually the smaller part. The huge ice mountain is below the water level.
A lot of other...
Behind what people see is now the people that make it happen. So you have the cameramen who are pointing the cameras and the microphones to us. You have the engineers who are ensuring that all these things we are saying actually get to people's TV, radio, and phones. Then you have the editors. The editors ensure that everything coming out from these cameras and all that are put together. They decide which how to package this. They break them down. Some people will now go afterwards to your Afia TV platforms and get this interview. If the editors that package them, they must be excellent in video editing. Then one of the most important people is the director. The director takes all the different takes. So we have how many cameras now pointing at us, multiple cameras. And the director decides which of them and what montage, how to put them all together. Then, of course, you have one of the most important, the producer. The producer is the brain behind the content. So he or she tries to figure out what should be produced, what should not be produced. You produce this, you decide what topic to be dealt with, who the resource person or persons would be, what aspects of this topic will be dealt with, and all of that. That's the traditional. Then, of course, you come to the new media.
Yep.
That is now a part of this.
Which can surely not be ignored either.
It cannot, because it's now an integral part of broadcasting. And in new media now, you have those who are going to be the social media managers, who will take everything we are doing now and ensure that concurrently it is streaming live on all the social media platforms, whether it is X or Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat or TikTok or LinkedIn or the hundreds of them that exist. Now you also have in the new media the digital media manager, who also ensures that beyond social media, this can actually be available on multiple platforms. So if somebody is not at home now sitting in front of this bulky TV set listening, how else can they get Afia TV? That's the work of the digital media manager. He can ensure that that happens with the traditional engineers. Now, beyond all that, you now also have the digital marketer, who ensures that not only should Afia TV website be well known, but it has to be optimized in such a way that if people are searching for best TV stations in Nigeria, Afia TV will show at the very top 5 and keep striving to be number 1 when people search. Why is that so? More people now get their information online than through any other traditional media. So there must be a digital marketer or digital manager who ensures that. Okay? And of course, I've talked about streaming services, multiple platforms, feedbacks. How do you do so? And ensuring that this content is broken down into formats that fit the different ways people now watch media. So if people are going to be watching media using their game console, Afia TV has to deliberately program and create content for the game console, or break existing content to suit the format of the game console. If it is still at the format of the TV, it may be too large for the game console.
So these are various options.
There are various career paths, each of which is big, each of which has several branches, each of which can keep you engaged for another 50 years.
Wow. I think I'll agree with you.
I've not even talked about the most important, the content writer, who may not be the producer.
Okay.
Okay? There will be people who write content, who are making sure that content is. And now broadcasters now work with such content writers to ensure that, okay, if Afia TV is going to be doing a series, TV series, let's say TV series, and fiction, drama show about Alibo, museums in Alibo, somebody has to write that. Somebody has to every week, or a group of people have to every week. So there are people who are specialized as content writers. And I know companies in this country now that employ only content writers and make those services available to TV stations and radio stations. And they just write content for you. You pay the company provides the services through their writers.
All right. Would you say this career, and most of these ones you've mentioned and broken down, is lucrative? Most people tend to feel or see broadcasting, even media, as not so lucrative. What would you say about that?
It depends on what being lucrative means. If being lucrative is having a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment in your job, doing what you love, yes, it is lucrative in that sense.
Monetary terms.
In monetary terms, it can be lucrative. You would have to go beyond the regular. So if you are, for instance, a social media manager, you would have to offer your services beyond just to one organization. Or you would have to create your own services too, or your own products, digital products that you are marketing. People can grow rich as long as they have something to offer the world. There's only one secret to growing rich, that you look at the problems that exist in your environment or in the world, and you provide a solution to any of them. And the more people that use it, the better and the more money you will earn. The same thing in broadcasting.
All right. You've done trainings for a while now. What has been your experience so far, training especially under the platform of WABMA?
Yeah, WABMA is the West Africa Broadcast and Media Academy. So WABMA was set up to provide what really does not exist in Africa for now. We are the only professional training institute in the whole of Africa, and I'm not exaggerating, that does training across the 6-7 aspects of media. As you know, media is not just about broadcasting. There's print, there's TV, there's radio, there is online, there is corporate communications and PR, there's advertising. WABMA provides training in all of these 7 areas. But not only that, it also provides it as a hybrid. So you don't need to come in physically, or you can come in physically to any of our campuses located in several locations. So our experience has been that there's a huge demand for training, a lot of demand for training. Over the past few months or year, you've been having more and more of inability to pay.
Inability to pay?
Yes, by individuals who want trainings. So there's a lot of, as the Nigerian society is pauperized, or find it more and more difficult to have disposable income, it is more and more difficult for especially young people to meet their training needs. And without training, you cannot do well in any aspect of media. So what WABMA does now is also to try to get funding from donor agencies and from philanthropic individuals and organizations to see how we can provide free trainings to as many people as possible. And over the past 3 years, we've been doing that. So in 2021 to 2022, we did a huge media literacy training across 17 states of Nigeria. We went to 17 states, supported by the U.S. Consulate, and trained an average of 2,200 people, young people. And in 2022 to 2023, up to after the elections, we trained a lot of journalists also across 17 states freely about covering the elections and being safe while covering the elections.
Are you seeing the impact of these trainings?
Oh yeah, we did.
Okay.
We did. We do see the impact. A lot of our alumni are doing well in many places, including Afia TV. Okay. We have a lot of alumni in Arise TV, in channels, in...
What didn't they know before that you see them?
Oh, they didn't have the professional training.
Okay.
Okay, so for those who wanted to be in front of the camera, they needed to be trained in presentation skills, which includes elocution and all that it comes with, which includes mastery of the language. So you won't come on air and be mixing your tenses. Okay? You won't come on air and be abusing the language, whichever language of broadcast you are using. Okay? Now, those behind the scenes, we've trained engineers, and we've also trained digital media people. We've trained a lot of people in video editing and audio editing, and those people are providing back-end services to a lot of broadcasting stations.
Wow. Thank you so much for the insights, and of course we'll keep bringing more insights on the importance of training, especially in this field where we also operate. And you know, the career paths are vast, just like you have explained, and we didn't even scratch as many as there are, but we will keep bringing that to you here on Career and Trainings, because there's so much. And there are things he said that training stands you apart for whatever career, whatever profession that you decide to go after. And when you give value, money comes to you. That's how money is made. It's not about the career, really, right?
No, it's not about the career. It's not about, you can, with digital media now, every broadcaster can earn multiple incomes. So you don't have to just depend on your salary. There's just a limit to which any broadcasting station can pay you, because the cost of broadcasting is huge. Just keeping Afia TV on per day costs millions of naira in energy costs, in personnel costs, in equipment costs, and all of that. So there's a limit to which any employer can pay you.
So
but those skills you learn can stand you out at your work and in your self-employment.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Ken Ike Okere. But just before we round off, we'll take our book recommendation and we'll call it a day. Our book recommendation. All right, that will be the much we'll have on the show today. We will give you the book recommendation, which is Think Straight. Think Straight from our very wonderful author right there. We've been having career paths on broadcasting, and with us has been Dr. Ken Ike Okere, the rector of WABMA, West Africa Broadcast Academy, right here in Enugu, Abuja, and Lagos as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Ken.
Thank you, Melody.
All right. I am Ifoma Ajimobi, Ifi Melody. Keep watching us and joining us every 3:30 p.m. every Tuesday right here on Afia TV. And yes, we're still celebrating Afia TV at 1. Have a wonderful day.